Hello everyone, welcome to the second part of this tutorial. So in this one, what we're gonna do is we're gonna design this login screen, and also we're gonna add some animation. So as you know, right now, if I jump back to my splash screen and I comment out this tree line, this is a splash screen, okay? So we are there. If we look back in the sketch, we see then this stuff here is gonna be the same thing as that, okay? So I was thinking, why not do some animation? What I mean by that, it's why not change this position, like putting like a transition where this one go top and this one came with some opacity. So I've done this. So I put this on a QuickTime video. So that's gonna look something like that. As you can see, that just go to the top and the button appear. It's maybe not the the best animation ever, but I just think that can just show some stuff you can do with React Native, and they are pretty simple. So yes, so why not jump on this stuff? So what I'm gonna do, first thing, it's this thing. It's a component. This thing always gonna keep the same size and stuff like that. So why not put this as his own component? So inside the src folder, I'm gonna create a folder called comments. So the comments, the difference between a comments and a component for me, it's a comment. It's really like the kind of stateless dumb component, as you call. So this is how I do this. So I'm gonna call this one onboarding logos, because this is the kind of the onboarding stuff and this is the logo. What I'm gonna do, just to win some time, is I'm gonna go to the login screen, splash screen. I'm gonna take this element right there. I'm gonna go back to my onboarding. I'm gonna import React. I'm gonna also import from my design utility. I'm gonna import my box and my text. And after that, I'm gonna create the onboarding logo like this. One thing also, I did a little change to my library yesterday, so I would like to update it. So we're gonna update React Native Design Utility. So just redo yarn add React Native Design Utility. So that's gonna install the version 0.0.12. And why I want to do this, it's because I've updated kind of the props, the typings, and now we're gonna get typings. But now, because of Visual Studio Code, sometimes it's kind of crazy. I'm gonna reload my windows, and now it should work. So what I mean by that, it's after that's gonna be loaded, we should be now able to see autocomplete. So example, if I start to type align, you see I get the autocomplete, and now if I do this, you see I can see each value I can pass. So that's gonna just be a bit better. So here I'm gonna keep it center, but I don't need the flex one because you're gonna take the space of his parent. So after that, yeah, I'm gonna export default this onboarding logo. So just remember, before we go further, the version you want in your package JSON is gonna be version 0.0.12. So now here, as we see, we just need the image import, or we're gonna crash the app. Oh, sorry. So image from constant image. And now inside my splash screen, I can just delete this stuff and start to type onboarding logo, click enter, and Visual Studio Code is supposed to complete your stuff here. And now we get cannot find variable image. So it's this thing here. So I forget to import image from React Native, and now we get it. So inside the splash screen, now we can delete this image from React Native, and we can also delete this one. So now the onboarding logo is pretty okay, but now we need this onboarding logo also inside the login screen. So what I'm gonna do for this one is I'm gonna design only the login screen. So what I'm gonna do is just uncomment this line, so we jump back to the login screen right away. So we don't need to wait 1 second. So inside the login screen, the way I'm gonna work is, first thing, we need this onboarding logo. Click enter, autocomplete. We can jump here. So now we have the same stuff. What we're gonna do now is this logging here. We're gonna do need to do some other stuff because we're gonna have some button, and yeah. So as you can see, if we look this element, looks like it's a flex box, and this one also is gonna be another box. The way I'm gonna work with that is inside my logging screen. I'm gonna inside here. I'm gonna create a new box, and this one I'm gonna pass my onboarding logo. This one gonna have the flex of 1, and I want it to be centered. So you're gonna center the logo, and after that I'm gonna have another box here, and this one gonna have a flex or 0.9, and I'm gonna put it a BG of red. So now we don't see it because you don't have any children. But what we're gonna do now, we're gonna import from React Native a touchable opacity. If you don't understand yet what my library do here, it's a flex 1, flex 0.9. So we win sometime. The center here is the equivalent of justify content center and align item center. So now here for the button, I'm gonna use a touchable opacity, and I'm gonna put a box inside that, and I'm gonna put a text. For now, I'm gonna just put continue with Google. If I do this, now we see what is the box. So, but this box, I want it to be 100%. So with my library, if you want to have 100% width, so width W, you can put 100% like that, or for me, the way I like it, I put it in number. So now you take the full space. So now my touchable opacity is going to be my button. Now what I want is I want this kind of button right there. The way I'm going to work with this stuff here, it's my box. I'm going to put a certain width and a BG to see it. So I'm going to put a BG of green just to see this stuff. And I want this stuff to be 80% of its parent. So like that. After that, I want himself to be, center compared to his parent. Like that. Also, one thing I want to have some padding. So I'm gonna say P for padding all around, XX for extra small. So you see we get some padding. If we go to the theme and we look for the spacing, we see X small, it's 8. And for this application, from what I've seen, I think 8 is too big. So I was thinking we can keep it X small like that, or we can create another one like we did with the 2XL. So I decided to go with the 2XL, so I say 2X small, and I'm gonna say 6. By doing this now, I can just change that and say 2X small. So now it's a bit smaller. For the text, gonna be easy. The color, it's white, so they're gonna take the white of the theme right there. So this white. So now if we check back the sketch, also we have some shadow and we have some radius. By default, I already provide you some shadow, this array. So as you can see, you just need to put the index. So if you see shadow curly bracket 1, 0, that's gonna be this one. Shadow curly bracket 1, that's gonna be this one. So just the index. So I'm gonna put shadow and I'm gonna say 1. Now I can remove the BG right for this one. And now we start to see like the kind of shadow and everything here coming together. So now what I'm gonna do, it's we need, if we look in the sketch again, we're gonna need to have kind of two container, two wrapper inside that for both. So one for the icon and one for the text. So the way I'm gonna work with this, it's inside my box here. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna have 2 boxes. I'm gonna have one box here and another box right there. So this box is gonna take the text, and this box here gonna receive a children, and the children is gonna be the little white box we see here in the sketch. As you can see, box is just a view, okay? Just a view with, I call that view in Ethereum. You just, you type this, just quicker. I don't need to import style sheet. It just go faster for me, and I just kind of like it. When I change my stuff, I can just do this in my theme. If you don't like it, again, remember, you can just do this in plain view. Background color, width, align self, it just, yeah, I'm sure you can follow here. So here in this box, I'm gonna put a BG wide, and from what I've seen in Sketch, we have a height of 32 and a width of 32. You see, just like that. So what I want, it's this box here right now, it's direction column. So I want him to have this direction of row. Just by doing this, we get this stuff. Also, I want his child to be center aligned on the thing you say x-axis, or I mean from top to the bottom. After that, here I'm gonna add some margin right, because as you can see in the sketch, this here don't touch this place here, so I'm gonna just put a margin of small. So now we get a bit more space. Now also, one thing I forget is inside the sketch we have some radius. So the way my library work, it's you can just put radius if you want. If you put radius, that's gonna give you the radius of, that's gonna give you my radius. Why I put radius? Radius. Yeah, right there. By default, I give you base. So base is 14, so it's too much. Inside my sketch, if I selection one item, I see the radius is 3. So I decide to just change this x small. I think x small we can still use it, so I'm gonna go to 2 small. You see, so it's just because I think in the future I'm gonna use it, but later maybe I'm gonna just change it back to be just the x small. So you can change it. I mean, you can change or delete or whatever. So it's your choice here. So here the radius, I'm gonna put this x small. So now you see, we just get like in the sketch file. Also, we need to do the same with the little square white here. So I'm gonna put this like that. Now, inside this little square here, what we're gonna have, it's also you're gonna receive an icon. So we want it to be centered inside him. And just for showing you where we are, if I put a text and I'm gonna say G, we are right there. So I think just with this, it looks pretty nice. The only thing we can change now is the text. So if we look back in the sketch, the text, it's 18. If we go back to the theme, size 18, we have already medium. So what I'm gonna do is this text, I say size, and I can say just medium. So now you get the size we have in the sketch. How we're gonna work with this stuff here, it's for the Facebook one, we're gonna make use of a vector icon, but for this G, I didn't find any, so I just have some PNG. So I'm gonna just put them in my asset. And so they are just this kind of PNG like that. Again, I'm gonna put them in the Dropbox. So this PNG here, I need to put them also in my image object, and I'm gonna call that, I'm gonna check, I call this Google color icon. If you don't know why I put color, it's more, it's just easier for me to know which one is that. So if I want to have more Google icon, I can just use this stuff. So now, just before we go further, we have 2 buttons. 2 buttons gonna have some text and icon and blah blah blah. So the way I think about this, it's why not create just his own component. So I'm gonna cut this touchable opacity stuff just to keep the box like that. Inside my comment, I'm gonna call this logins button, because in the app we don't really have this kind of button. So I'm gonna just use this way. So my login button, gonna have need React. Also from my library design utility, you're gonna have the box and the text. Also from React Native, we're gonna need a touchable opacity, And also something we can already take is going to be the image. So here we're going to create a stateless component called logging button, and we're going to just pass it there. I'm going to export default this logging button, and now what I can do here is just putting logging button, and we're going to have two. So we see we have two elements right there. One thing we can already fix is we need some margin. So the one I've put, it's my margin button, MB button, and I'm gonna say small. So just like that, I think we're pretty close to what we have in Sketch. So now I think to make it customizable, I'm gonna put a children here. So the children is something you receive by default in React Native, in React, when you have a child inside a component tag. So this way, I'm gonna change this children. I'm gonna put this children as the text. So right now we see we don't have any text because this button have no children. But now if I say here, continue with Google, and now here I say continue with Facebook. Just by doing this, now both came with this own text. After that, because we're gonna have Google and Facebook, we're gonna have a type. So I'm gonna just call that type. So type can be equal to Google and Facebook. And that's gonna change the background color of the button, because as you can see, both have one different. So the way that works, it's I take the color, so just like that, I take the color and I copy paste. So I'm gonna just paste them already inside the theme, so that's gonna be easier for you. So inside the theme, I decide to just add new colors because I don't think I'm gonna use them. So I just call them Google Blue, Facebook Blue. So this is the color right there. We can pause the video here. And now the way I'm gonna work is I'm gonna create here a function where this one gonna choose which color to put as a background color. So I'm gonna call that BG color. This one gonna receive a type. That's gonna be a function where this function gonna be a switch statement. Switch statement gonna take the type, and by default, when we have nothing, I'm gonna return white. So if I have no color, I'm gonna return white. So right now, if I just change the background color here, and I put BG color and I put the type, we see it's white now. So now here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna case Google. So if I pass the type Google, I'm gonna return Google Blue. So the color I just show you, case Facebook, I'm gonna return Facebook Blue. Facebook Blue, like that. So now if I go back to my login screen and I say here type Google and type Facebook, just by doing this, boom, we get both colors. You see, it was pretty simple, and this is one of the reasons I really like my library for this stuff. It's I don't need to import the colors. If you want to import a color, you can import a theme, but here we don't even need. You can just create this color. Maybe you're gonna want to use it later, so you just put them there. Again, if you don't like other color here, you can just delete this. So now, sorry, for the Google icon, that's gonna be really simple. So we're gonna jump on this one first. So the way I'm gonna work with the Google icon, it's here. I'm gonna replace this G here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say curly bracket type equal Google, and so if left and right side, so it's pretty simple JavaScript here. So if the left is true and the right is true, we show what we have in the right. So here I'm gonna put an image. And for the source, I'm gonna use image, not Google color icon. And now I think I just forget to import the image. So import image from my constant image like that. And now just by doing this, boom, we get the continue with Google, the button. So you see, we can click on this one. The thing with Facebook, it's I think it's gonna be better to go with the SVG and really customize this stuff. So the way that works, it's expo vector icon or React Native vector icon or whatever you use. You just find like kind of a Facebook SVG. So I find this one from Fona. I think it looks really close to what we have in this one. So I decide to go with this one. The way that works is we need to install this library. So this library is gonna be like that: yarn and or npm and expo slash vector slash icon, and I'm gonna put I don't know how you call this in English, this eta, and I'm gonna say the version 6.3.1. Make sure version 6.3.1. So right now, after this is done, just to make sure this is working, so this library gonna give us a lot of SVG stuff and things like that. So if we go look inside the package JSON right now, this is what you're supposed to have as a version. So 6.3, 29 expo, React Native 16.3.1, 12 for my design utility, and React Navigation 2.11.2. Really important to follow here to make sure that everything is gonna work. So for this logging button, what I'm gonna do, it's at the top of my file. I'm gonna import from expo vector icon, and the name is gonna be fun awesome. So here what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say if the type equal Facebook, what I want to show is this font awesome. This stuff, the name is gonna be called Facebook. So we're gonna add a Facebook icon right there in the middle. I want this one to have the same color of my theme. So this is the beauty of using the theme object. It's now, if I want that color, I can just say theme. I'm gonna click enter, so that's gonna auto import dot color dot Facebook blue. By doing this, we're gonna get the same Facebook blue, and for the side, I'm gonna use a 30. So now if I do this, we get Facebook right there. But as you can see, it's really not at the same place as what we see in the sketch. Sketch is at the bottom right. So the way we can work, it's my box here can still receive style, inline style, but they don't become inline style, they become a style sheet. So here you make sure that at least you don't lose any performance, they get merged together. So the style here gonna have a position relative. So because I want this icon to become position absolute, so it's gonna be absolute relative to this box. So if I say right 0 and button 0, what I'm gonna get is this stuff. First thing, I don't want him to touch the side, you see, so I decide to just put a 5, and I think this is pretty good. For the button, if we go with -3, that's gonna make sure that he touch the bottom of it. Yeah, it's maybe kind of accurate, but yeah, so I think it's kind of pretty close. Yeah, I mean, the rest we can check here. I think it's okay, I mean, for this tutorial, but you see you can really polish more this stuff. Now the only thing I want to do, it's I like to do this when I create button, it's I just take an alert and I say example on Google Press, and I just want to say alert, and I say here Google Press, and I'm gonna shift command D here to get back this stuff, change the Google command D to selection the other one, say Facebook, really, like that. And now what I want is I want to pass on press even to my button, so like that, Facebook press. By doing this, now my login button, I want him when I click them to show this. What we can do is just take this props and just pass it inside this touchable opacity, and now just by doing this, Google Press, Facebook Press, perfect. Now time to do the animation, the fun part. It's gonna be easy. So if we look back the quick time, as you can see, when you get to the screen, we just do some animation. So you can use some library like I think Expo have one called Fluid Transition or something like that. The thing about this, this library, it's really nice. But the thing is, if we look back to the screen, the navigation, the way that works, this is a switch navigator who have a splash out and a main. The way Fluid Navigator works, it's like kind of you replace your stack, but this thing, it's not a stack, it's a switch. So my splash, it's not in the same stack as the main, so that's why we cannot use this. So I decided to just do this myself. And in the same time, this is a tutorial, so why not learning this? The thing is, now we're gonna need to replace some stuff here. Why? It's because my box are not ready yet to be used with animate. So we're gonna need to change back this to view, but you're gonna see it's gonna be really simple. So the way that we're gonna work, it's now from React Native, we're gonna import a library called animated, an API I mean, called animated. The way animated work, I really first thing I encourage you to read the docs here. It's you create some value and you just say how they're gonna change with the state. So the way I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna need to have two values we're gonna change. First, we're gonna work on the opacity of this group of buttons. So that's gonna be a pretty simple one. So we're gonna replace this box here I have with an animated.view. If you remember, the style was flex 0.9 and we have a width of 100%. So you see animated. So you see it's already simple to just change it because you can do this just like that, and you see still work. For the one here at the top, it's going to be animated view also, but the style, yeah, this I didn't decide to go this way. I decided to go this way here. Oh, not like that. Animated. I'm gonna wrap my box, and I'm gonna save that view. And why I decided that? Because I don't want to type justify content in an item. I'm kind of lazy here, but here I can just put a style of flex 1 and it should work. Same way, perfect. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work on this part first. I just want to change the opacity. So if we look back in the QuickTime, you see the opacity came from the button. So the way that works, inside that state, I'm gonna call something called opacity. There's gonna be a new animated that value, and we're gonna start at 0 because 0 opacity, we don't see it. After that, I'm gonna create a method called opacity anim, and this method gonna take the animated timing. So animated timing is just finally you animate with a time. You just say how much time you want, like I don't know, like 1 second, and that's gonna take 1 second to come to the value you told him. So here you just need to pass your opacity first. So as you see, the first element is the value, animated value. So this is the one here we have at the top. After that, you can put some config. As the config, the one we're gonna want, it's two value. So think about like from to, we have in keyframe of CSS. So we want to go from 0 to 1, and I think the duration gonna be at 200. To start this one, you need to make sure you have the start, because if you don't, that's never gonna be called. After that, what I'm gonna do is inside the component in mount, I'm gonna call this opacity anim. After that, below here, I'm gonna destructuring this opacity value from the state, and I'm gonna just pass it right there. You just pass opacity like that, that's it. And now if we look, you see, so just to make sure, I'm gonna go back to my splash and just put back the timeout. So you see the thing, and now we just have this opacity kind of effect, 0 from 1. Now we need to move this kind of logo to fake the fact then that was the one here, because it's not the one here. Remember, it's another screen. So the way I work, so I'm gonna copy paste this one, and I'm gonna say position. I'm gonna create one called position anim, and the position anim is gonna be really similar to this one. The difference is here, that's going to be this, let's say that position. The two values going to be 1. The duration going to be 300, but here I want, because it's a movement, I want to make sure that I'm going to use a native driver, so that don't going to be the JavaScript going to move, but the native side. And now, the way that's going to work here, it's we're going to need to do some interpolate. It's going to be really simple. Here, I'm going to call that logo translate. And that's going to be that's the position. And this one, because it's an animated value, you can interpolate. Here, that take an object where you say the input range, so it's an array, and the output range. So, just by passing the mouse here, we have already some way to know what is the kind of type you want. So the interpolate, it's a way finally to you to update the value. So example, if I say here my value 0 to 1, it's my value I have from the position beginning and the other one. So finally you just say when it's 0 where I am, when it's 1 where I am. So you do this with the output value. So example, if we put 50 and I want to be at 0, so to be at the place it was before, now what I can do, it's here to my flex right there. I can add this value to a transform with an array who can have object, and here I'm gonna say translate X, just for showing you. If I do this, looks what's gonna happen. You see? It's not, I think I'm gonna go with example 200 just to show it better. Now you get translate to somewhere. And the thing is, now we didn't even start the library, the animation, but I use this way just to see where I'm gonna be. So as you can see, I don't want to translate the X, I want to translate the Y. So I just try to be almost at the same place where I was. So I figured out that 150 was pretty close. Maybe not for you, but I think it's pretty close to where it was. Just like that, you see, okay, it was there. So this output value finally just add 150, I think, to the kind of the top of it, and we want it to be 0 to be finally at the place it was supposed. So to start this, I'm gonna just call position and name. So this way it's gonna be moved. So if we do this, you see now it moved. And if you ask the translate X, look what's gonna happen from the right side. But it don't make sense because this stuff was already there. So that's why I want to just put this at the top. So the way now the thing is, I don't like this. You see, both animations start together. So the way I figure it out, it's what we can do. First thing, I'm gonna call this as a parallel. So I want to start both animations in the same time. So I'm gonna call my position and my opacity anim, and you just need to start. That's it. So now doing this, nothing gonna change. It's gonna be the same thing. Both animations start together. But now what I want to do, it's my opacity here. I'm gonna put a delay. So delay finally, it's like just wait this amount of time before I start. So if we look here, the duration of this position, it's 300. So I figure out 300 minus 200, we're gonna go with 100. And now just by doing this, after 100, so after 1 millisecond, we just 100 milliseconds, we just do the animation right after. So I think it's pretty nice for what we have right now. So the next video is gonna be about adding both plugins. So we're gonna just do the front end side first. So we're gonna make sure that we create an application in Google and an application in Facebook, and we want to get the value from the user. So this is what we're gonna do in the next one. And after that, we're gonna jump in the backend to do the authentication part. So that was just a change. I want to change the fact that I pass from, I always start from the backend, or I start with the front end, so at least now you can see more what's gonna happen. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I have some questions for you. A lot of person have asked me about not using Expo, so I just want to know if this is something everyone want. The reason I was using Expo here is because it's a tutorial, so I don't want to lose like, I don't know, like 2-3 hours to just linking library. And the thing it's about linking library, it's maybe that work today, but I don't know if that's gonna work in 3 months. As you know, everything changed so fast. Yeah, I mean, but if you want it, I'm gonna just copy paste this project to React Native project. The only library we're gonna need to install link right now is gonna be the vector icon, so it's gonna be pretty simple. Yeah. Yeah, just let me know, and also let me know if you find the speed of this tutorial nice. I know some people have said the font size was not big enough, so I think now I use 21, so let me know. So I hope you enjoy. If you have some question, let me know. I have my Discord channel, and also my any question also about my React Native design utility library. Any question, you can put them also in the Discord. I hope you enjoy, and we're gonna talk in the next one. Have a good day, everyone. Bye.